Hi everybody, we are here today to talk about section 10.8. It's the last section on circles, and this deals with equations of circles, which yet again, it's something I really love. So the basic equation you need to remember for equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus the quantity y minus k squared equals r squared, where the center of your circle is at hk, and your radius, the r stands for radius. Keep in mind, if your radius is at the origin, your equation just becomes x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So again, center, if it's at 0, 0. But we're going to deal with shifting this circle, kind of picking it up from the origin and moving it right, left, up or down, whichever way we're going to head. So our first job here is to write an equation of a circle with the center at 5, -4, and the radius is the square root of 3. So again, let's fill in what we know. We know our center right here is h and k, so 5, -4. So we are going to have x minus your h value, which is 5, squared, plus y minus your k value, so it's y minus -4 squared, equals your radius squared. And of course, we're going to simplify that just a little bit. You're going to leave it as x minus 5 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals, well, the square root of 3 squared, those undo each other, and we are left with 3. And when you see it in this form here, we know that this circle then travels to the right 5 and down 4 with a radius of 3. So let's look at this next example. We have to find the equation of a circle with the center at -3, -5 through the point 0, 0. Notice that point 0, 0 is not the center, it's just a point on the circle. So we first have to figure out the radius. We don't know the radius of this circle. So we're going to use distance formula from the center of the circle to any point on the circle, which we're only given one point, which is 0, 0. So our radius is just our distance formula. So we're going to subtract our x's, so -3 minus 0 squared plus, subtract your y's, sorry, I'm looking through my screen here, -5 minus 0 squared. And then, of course, we will simplify that, and we will end up with square root of 9 plus 25, which is the square root of 34 is our radius. So now that we have our radius, now we can just substitute in. Again, our center is h and k right there. Keep in mind what the equation of our circle is x minus h squared, so we are going to have x plus 3 squared plus, and then this is y minus k, well our k is -5, so it becomes y plus 5 squared equals r squared. Well, if we square the square root of 34, keep in mind those undo each other and we're just left with 34. And again, you can tell the circle goes left 3, down 5, with the radius of this is the square root of 34 here. And I want you guys to look at this last one. This last one is going to deal with, it's going to involve system of equations, or I'm sorry, not system of equations, I'm so used to saying that, completing the square. First thing I want you to do, let's get our terms with x's kind of near each other. So we're going to have x squared plus 8x. Then I'm going to leave a little bit of space. Do the same thing with your y's, so we have y squared minus 14y. We're going to move this constant to the other side. Again, notice I left a little bit of space with each of this x squared and x term and the y squared and the y term. And keep in mind also the sign in front of it, hope you're all saying it in unison, is the sign of it. So we need to make this right here a perfect square trinomial for your x's and for your y's. Or we can write it as x plus or minus something squared, quantity squared, and y plus or minus something quantity squared. So to remind you of this, I actually attached another video you can watch, but to remind you, you take half of your b value, so our b value here is 8, half of 8 is 4, and then we square it, and 4 squared is 16, so we're adding 16 to this left-hand side, which means to keep our equation in balance, we have to add 16 to the right as well. And then we're going to do the same thing with our y's. Half of -14 is -7, -7 quantity squared is positive 49, so we also add 49 to both sides. Now what that does for you, if you were to factor, sorry, I hope I'm not making you too dizzy here, that trinomial right there, we just created a perfect square trinomial. You think about a times c, what multiplies to be 16, that adds up to be 8, well, it's 4 and 4. So that becomes x plus 4 times x plus 4, or x plus 4 quantity squared. Same thing with your y's here. We now made this a perfect square trinomial. So we would say what multiplies together to be positive 49, that adds up to be negative 14, and it's going to be y minus 7 quantity squared. So take a moment and process that. I know it's a lot. And then we're going to simplify this side over here and end up with 25. So once we do this, we can look at this and say, hey, our center is at negative 4, 7. So negative 4, 7. And our radius is the square root of 25, so our radius is 5. So I know that's a lot to process. I hope that helps a bit. But good luck with circles. Circles are really cool, so I hope you're embracing them, and I will see you all on Monday. Thanks.